Good morning, children. In the previous class, I had given you an introduction to virtualization. Today, we'll deal with it through the reader. Let me share the screen with you. Yes, virtualization, I already did the introduction, but we'll be doing it through the reader and the different types of virtualization. As I already told you that when we need too many operating systems and many applications and we need more storage device, a single server would not do the work and we would require more servers to be installed too. And this would be really cost effective because you need to buy a server which costs more, and then installation makes it more mm, you know maintenance and managing it also requires a lot of money, and electricity of the usage that it does also is really great, so very high. And it could create a problem like the server could fail or get corrupt and we would lose the information. And one more thing is, even when we buy a lot of servers, we don't know whether we are using all the servers. Really, are the applications really needed? Maybe for that minute, it might be needed for that, tenure of time that they require to do that work. It would be required to use it. After that, it would remain idle and you would waste a lot of money on it. Just to reduce all these things, reduce the number of operating systems. Once you reduce this operating systems or don't have them, just install too many of them, automatically energy would reduce and you would, all these things would be available to you. And the time also would be saved. So the virtual technology was introduced with using the virtual machines, where you would have very less servers, less time to spend on doing all the managing and maintenance, and it would work very faster. You don't have to deploy too many deploys, just set up too many, servers, and then you wouldn't know what server for what. And so the virtual machine would be much more easier to deploy because I told you already that how you are attending the virtual classes, you are not present in the school, but you are attending it as if you are in a school from your home. The same way, you are not going to have the servers with you, but you can just access it over the cloud to use it. So this type of virtual machine, it has different operating systems and the application, and anyone can access it from anywhere. They can use it. Let's go to the lesson. Virtualization is a creation of virtual version of something. So the things that would be available in virtualization is like the server, the desktop, the storage device, the operating system, and network resources. Now, the machine on which the virtual machine is working, that is known as a host machine. So you can see the virtual machines are working. I put a picture here on the host machine. This is the host machine, and the virtual machines are termed as the guest machine. So the sentence says the machine on which the virtual machine is going to be created is known as a host machine, and the virtual machines are referred to as the guest machines. Now, why this virtualization? Because the IT companies, first they were deploying or getting in many servers, multiple servers, just to manage all their services, their multiple services. And they were not, they were not sure whether all the servers were being utilized, all the hardware resources were effective for the work that they required. So they have given an example here of a company called ABCD, and they have arranged like this server. See, one server down, up, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 servers here, and here another one, 8 and 8, 16, 17, almost 17 servers. It may be more if they require even more work. So just to avoid all these things, you can access these type of servers over the cloud, which is called virtualization. This servers wouldn't be available, but all the hardware, the software, the operating system, the storage, and everything would be available over the in this virtualization. Now here, if we had such type of computers like this ABC company, what would be the problem? Definitely we would have the maintenance of all these many servers, and it would be very costly. And so to overcome all these type of problems, the virtualization technology came into existence. And what we could do with the virtualization, why was it created? Because we could create multiple virtual machines on just one single machine. We just have a machine at home, but all the thing is done by the many machines which are over the cloud. So a single machine called the host could do all this work. And all the components like the mouse, keyboard, RAM, the hard disk, processor are all shared by the guest machine. So it would be on the host machine. As I told you in this previous, all these things would be on the host machine, but they are being shared by the other virtual machines. So all physical components like the RAM, processor, hard disk are virtually shared by the guest machine. You don't have to keep so many mouse and all these things. Okay, they are shared by the guest machine from the host machine. So which would help for virtualizing. And to do all these things, you just install the virtual software. So that steps to install the virtual software is there in your book. And now there are 7 types of virtualization, and each one is different according to their works or to their, the elements that they have given. And these are the types of virtualization. The first one is called the hardware, which I told you just now, the mouse and the other things. The application softwares are your softwares that you apply. You know what is application because you download many applications in your cell phone and other places, right? Then the next one is administrative virtualization, dealing with the administrative work, the network virtualization for your network to connect it to the internet and get all the information, the desktop, the storage virtualization, server virtualization. Last one is your, actually this is the hardware virtualization. This is also hardware virtualization, but this hardware virtualization has 2 subcategories. The subcategories are type 1 and type 2. The type 1 is called full virtualization. The type 2 is called para virtualization. What's the difference between full virtualization and para virtualization? Let's learn about it. Now, this is the type 1. I actually explained it to you last time only. Why is it called, because it's got direct access from the host computer or from the hypervisor. So in type 1 hypervisor, it's called the hypervisor. First you know what's an hypervisor, because I told you in the previous class, a hypervisor is a software that runs on the physical server or your host server. Okay, the hypervisor runs on the host server. And what is the work of the hypervisor? The hypervisor pulls in all the resources from the physical server. That's your host server. It takes all those resources and then it distributes it to all the other virtual environments, means your other virtual machines. It's distributed to the other virtual. So from the host server has all the the resources, and they take all these with the help of this hypervisor. They can pull in all the resources. All the resources that is pulled into the host, they can just access it, or it is distributed to the virtual servers. Why I said distributed? Because each virtual server is accessing different types of operating systems. I told you, one is Windows, one is Linux, Unix, and so on. So this is what the virtual server, the hypervisor does. So the type 1 hypervisor runs directly on the host machine. From the host machine, it's receiving directly all the information. The virtual servers are receiving the information directly. So this is referred as bare metal hypervisor. The other name for type 1 hypervisor is bare metal hypervisor. It's also known as embedded or native hypervisor. There are other names I have not included, but here they are in your reader. Now this is working directly on the hardware of the host and can monitor, operating systems. It is completely independent of the operating system. So it's directly taking it. You don't need any operating systems in the middle. Directly all the information is coming through the host directly to the type 1 with the help of the hypervisor, right? So that's why it's called bare metal hypervisor. And when the information is going, it's going with a high speed. The information is not deployed. Deployed is, it does not, stop and then send it. It goes directly. So the time is saved. Okay, now these are the vendors for this type of type 1 hypervisor. You can just get them through these vendors. And what's the technology that they are using? They provide the VMware. It's providing, this XE. I already told you the technology is called XE. Then Microsoft is giving Hyper-V, and Citrix is giving XN servers. Open source is giving you the KVM or the kernel virtual machines. These are the vendors and these are the technologies that they are using. Here I put the picture of this type 1, and because I'm going to teach you also type 2, let's see type 2. What's the difference between type 1 and type 2? The type 2 hypervisor is called the hosted hypervisor. Why so? Because it's not directly installed over the host computer. There is a layer of operating systems, then the host can receive all the the assistance. So it does not go directly to type 2. There are operating systems, and it takes all the things from the hypervisor takes it from the operating system. So it's called type 2, or it's called hosted hypervisor. It's typically installed over the existing operating systems, and so it's called as hosted hypervisor because it relies on the host machine and the pre-existing operating systems, and so which is managed by the CPU, by the CPU, memory, storage, and network resources. What's the advantage of this is that the server gets, the number of servers will get reduced in this system because you have a number of operating systems, not like so many virtual servers that you are arranging here. Here, there is a layer of all the operating systems, and then from here it's taken. So there's no servers here, but here in this case, you have a number of servers being kept. That's the difference. And so you can use it improve the ability of the technology and maximum utilization of the resources are available in type 2 virtualization. Maybe it deploys the services, makes a little extra time, but it's very, very the most useful thing. Most of the programmers use the type 2 virtualizers, and the vendors are VMware, and the technology is Workstation Pro and Workstation Players. Microsoft, again, even for type 2 they have it. Even VMware is in type 1. And Microsoft say the technology that they use is virtual PC. Oracle is there, and they have VirtualBox. Coming to the next one here, these are the steps that you could set up your virtualization into your computer. Please go through the steps very carefully, because if I have to show you the steps, I really have to switch off my computer, and on the start button, I have to press F2 to install the steps. But I put the pictures so you can see. So step 1 says enable virtualization by going up into your BIOS setup. And the second one, download the software of virtualization. Second one is install the virtualization software in the host machine, and then go to settings and then assign your hardware, that's your mouse and other things, and your network resources also will automatically get assigned in the 5th step. In the 6th step, you're going to install your operating system and then run all the applications that you require. So here's the first step. The first step says first switch on your, power on your computer. When it is getting on, immediately press the F2 key. You go up into the startup BIOS. Your startup BIOS looks like this. There's a picture of it. And after that, you click your right arrow button and select the configuration, system configuration. You need to select the system configuration tab. And then after that, select virtualization technology. So they are in steps. Here you can see it's in white, and then you press the enter. Then after that, you press the F10 key and select yes. Okay. And so then you press the enter, and all the changes are being done that you are wanting the virtualization to be set up into your computer. Now you reboot the computer, the Windows, that is, use off it and then say reboot. There's an option you can start again from the beginning after doing this thing. In step 2, you are going to type VMware Workstation Pro in your Google search. That I can show it to you, but it will not. You have to say VMware Workstation Pro. So in your Google, once you open your Google, you can just type there VMware Workstation Pro, and then you can download the software. So here it is, VMware workstation. You already got the workstation. Here you can select it and you have the downloads here. And you need to download it from here. Okay. Then going to the next step, go to downloads and select free product. Here you get it like this. In the step 2, it's on the next page. So I'll show you to you. Download the VMware Workstation.pro. So here it is. Sorry, it's here only, but it's not very clear. This is step 2. Here's how you download, and when you download, it looks like this. In the step 3, install virtualization software in your host machine. That is, once you install, when you click on install, you install the normal software before. In the 4th, create a new virtual machine and add the operating system. So here you can select the virtual machine, and then after that, click on the add the operating system. So you have an option, add it. Then choose any of the options, typical or custom. Better if you choose custom, because the whole thing will start loading the VMware, because I've already tried it out. So you just choose the typical custom and choose the VM. So this is typical customs, and then say next, and automatically it downloads. Then add the disk operating, image operating system, or you can choose I will install the operating systems later. If you want to install, you can install it, or operating systems, you can just skip it if you have some of them. Then choose the guest operating system, because you are the guest, because the guest machines are all the virtual machines, and select what virtual machines you require or what softwares you require. There are many that are available. Now the virtual machine name, if you are installing Android operating system, give the name according to your requirement. Here you'll have to enter here in your Android, and then choose the BIOS option. So again, you go up into it, it just gets installed into your BIOS option. Then process configuration, specify the number of processors and cores that you are assigned to the guest machine. Then memory for the VM, it takes 2 GB storage. Like you can install first the 2 GB, how much you want in your virtual machine. Network, it's giving you all the configurations of the storage and the network configuration to allow VM to connect to the network and create a new virtual disk to maintain and manage your data. So that's the next option. You're going to create a new virtual machine for yourself and maintain all your data. So you'll be actually using the virtual machine and downloading your data. Then specify the disk capacity to use. An option split. You can split the virtual disk into multiple files, so that you can store different files into your different recommended things. So you recommend 40 GB as your hard disk space according to the operating systems. Then go to settings and assign the hardware. Because you didn't assign it, you said skip that one. Now you can assign your hardware and your network resource, and then it's loaded. Then install the operating systems and run the application what you want, and the virtual machine is done for you. So you try out the steps, because I can't off the system and on it for you to see the steps. I hope you understood about virtual machines. Maybe I'll take up another little more class about it. Till then, have a nice day and do all your homework.